అందరికీ నమస్కారములు. శుభోదయం. శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. Today is the last lecture days of first 2 months of topics connected with Sanatana Dharma. Today we will have 2 speakers. The first one will be Dr. BrahmDutt Arya. I will introduce him to all of you after Vande Mataram and Prarthana. And then next one will be our course academic director, CSR Prabhu garu. Both will be dealing with research topics on various issues. So first we will have BrahmDutt Arya ji, after that CSR Prabhu ji. Now let us start with Vande Mataram. We'll request Challa Chitti Babu garu to recite Vande Mataram. All of you, request you to stand up.
Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram. Sujalam Sufalam Malayajasitalam Sasyashyamalam Mataram. Vande Mataram. Subhratyosna Pulakitayamini Pullakusumita Drumadala Shobhini Suhasini Sumadhura Bhashini Sukhadam Varadam Mataram. Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram. Vande Mataram.
Vande Mataram. ధన్యవాదాలండి Challa Chitti Babu garu. Now let us request Satya ji to chant Prarthana.
Namaskaram. Let's do meditation for a minute. Oh. 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 Om Gananam Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamasravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anasrunvannutibhis Sida Sadanam. Om Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha. Om Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebhirvajinivati Dhinam Avitriyavatu. Om Shri Mahasaraswatyai Namaha. Gurureva Gati Gurumeva Bhaje Gurunaiva Sahasmi Namo Gurave. Na Guroh Paramam Sishurasmi Guroho Matirasti Gurau Mama Pahi Guru. ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतो वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्यदेवो भव अतिथिदेवो भव ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ
ధన్యవాదములండి. Now I'll introduce Dr. BrahmDutt Arya to all of you. Today he is the first speaker. He is the assistant professor in the Directorate of Higher Education, Haryana, India. Dr. Arya has completed his PhD from CSIR National Physical Laboratory, New Delhi, with specialization in cancer nanomedicine. He has more than 15 research articles in his name with cancer research domain. He is currently associated with the European Association of Cancer Research, UK, as Young Investigator Ambassador. His prime areas of interest are cancer nanomedicine, biosensor, fuel cells, energy harvesting devices, etc. Being a chemistry expert, he has developed Indian standard reference material for gold nanoparticles and silicon dioxide nanoparticles. Dr. Arya is follower of Arya Samaj since birth and is practicing yajna on daily basis since his childhood. He has conducted a series of experiments on Agnihotra research at CSIR National Physical Laboratory, New Delhi, Indian Institute of Technology, New Delhi, and Tropos Institute of Environmental Research, Germany, to validate the traditional knowledge of Agnihotra on modern scientific grounds. So he will be speaking on his findings on his research on various aspects of Agnihotra. So let us welcome Dr. BrahmDutt Arya to our course and request him to take over the platform and continue his webinar. Welcome, BrahmDutt Arya.
Thank you so much, Dr. Babu, for this invitation. I thank all the organizer of this event and welcome all the participants in this beautiful and one of its kind course, 3 months course. Let us start our talk for today. Can you please enable my host screen participant?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I want to screen share to show my PPT.
Can you try now?
Yeah, just a moment.
Any problem?
Just a minute. I
Yeah,
think
we can-
you are able to see this now.
Yeah.
Okay, let us start. So our today talk is on scientific validation of Agnihotra, a holistic solution for environmental health, environmental remediation and human health. So Agnihotra is a wider term, and Yajna and Agnihotra are both different terms. Basically, Agnihotra is associated with the process and manifestation of Agni, and then providing some herbs and other things as oblations to the Agni for environmental remediation and human health. Yajna has been defined in our Vedic literature as the process, nucleus process for manifestation of nature. That means Yajna is associated with all the process, all the reasons behind the appearance of life and the nature. Yeah. And the knowledge of Agnihotra can be described in Yajurveda, where is Samveda is associated, focuses on the rhythmic chanting of mantra, while therapeutic knowledge of Agnihotra is explained in Atharveda. Now, Atharveda defines as a best way to treat patient suffering from acute disease. In the following hymn of Atharveda, Yajna is defined as a life-saving remedy and a powerful source for vitality and holistic health. It should be considered that Agnihotra is not just a ceremony related to religious faith, but in fact a concrete Vedic science. And according to Vedic literature, Yajna has quite a wider perspective, referred as a form of sacred mankind duty. In our Vedic literature, the Yajna can be defined or classified in 5 different types of Yajna that should be done by mankind as a form of sacred duties. if you consider the Yajna or Agnihotra, then we can see that from this uh, slide that this Agnihotra can be associated with all other factors like Agni. Agni produced during the Agnihotra ceremony can be associated with the heat energy or thermodynamics related. And the time or sun positions can also be associated to photochemical and quantum mechanic phenomena. Whereas the Patra, the person who is doing the Agnihotra, is the cosmic energy receiver. On the other hand, Havan Samagri we use as oblations in the Agnihotra during the heat or Agni formation is associated with the various phytochemical reactions responsible for the very significant effect of Agnihotra on human health as well as on environment. And the sitting position or mudra of the Patra is linked with the adaptation of cosmic and static energy. There is chanting of mantra, producing the sound wave propagation and vibroacoustic propagations. And the last part is the medicinal smoke or pollution control. And that is associated with all the therapeutic effects of Agnihotra. So basically from this knowledge tree, we can only found that this Agnihotra process has these different kind of scientific parameters associated with it and can be studied. The process of Agnihotra can be studied through this framework. If we consider modern research perspective on Agnihotra, then for this Agnihotra research building, we can find that the basic foundation used to join these pillars can be of Ved Vigyan, chemistry, environmental science, and biology. Basically, Ved Vigyan department or the knowledge from Ved Vigyan gives us a detailed knowledge about Agnihotra from Vedic literature, how Agnihotra can be performed, how, what type of oblations or Havan Samagri we can use during the Agnihotra. These all should be carried out direct from the Vedic literature. Whereas chemistry helps us to know the chemical composition and analysis of all phytochemicals evolved during Agnihotra. As we know, Agnihotra process can be associated with lot of chemical and processes. Then chemistry take a good part in this. On the other hand, the environmental science associated with the phytochemical reactions as a result of interaction of phytochemicals with atmospheric gases. And last one, the biology is associated with biochemical and cell cultural analysis on exposure of Agnihotra fumes. So all these three parts like chemistry, environmental science, and biology are associated or are linked or help us to know the scientific perspective of Agnihotra, whether the Ved Vigyan is associated with the more performing parameters of Agnihotra. So in order to know the modern scientific parameters using the chemistry, we should know these little terms. And the first one is the aerosol. So aerosol is basically a system of tiny particles. That particles can be of solid or liquid that are suspended in the air in our environment. These can be from various sources, and these aerosols particles are associated with very large range of particles. They can contain small particles like sea salt particles, mineral dust, pollens, drops of sulfuric acid, and many others. From this picture, we can found that these all industry, transportation, agriculture, volcano, forest, marine, all spread the aerosol particle into the environment. And these aerosol particles collectively in the presence of air form and produce many phenomena like homogeneous nucleation or heterogeneous nucleation, and cause various natural processes like cloud formation, lightning, and other things. So aerosols have a great impact on our human health, Earth's climate, and other biospheres. Now, these aerosols can be good and bad depending on their chemical composition. Like in this image, we can see that in the left, we have shown that Agnihotra, and we consider Agnihotra as a process for purification of the air. Whereas on the other hand, we have shown various sources of air pollution from biomass burning to industries, etc. And here we are polluting the environment. So in order to distinguish which process will purify or which process will pollute the environment, there is a significant, because both these process or all these process produce aerosols in the environment. So in order to justify whether some process is producing pollution or not, we need to consider we need to analyze the chemical composition of these aerosol particles. We all heard about the PM 2.5 particles and the values. As of now, all of know, in Delhi, it has been a major air pollution monitoring parameter. These PM 2.5 particles are very fine particles. Their diameter is lesser than 2.5 microns. If you consider this is the diameter of human hair, then around 50 or 30 to 40 PM 2.5 particle collectively joined, and they will match the diameter of the human head. So you consider how small these PM 2.5 particles are. They are that much dangerous because they have the capacity to travel through our nasal cavity and to travel, finally accumulate in our lungs and cause different kind of respiratory and lung disease. So in order to justify whether we are producing Agnihotra aerosol particles, they are purifying the environment or causing pollution. Many Western perspectives also consider Agnihotra as a source of pollution. So first, we need to do a specific research on the chemistry of these Agnihotra particles. So in order to find that, we can classify Agnihotra particles on the basis of chemistry as these Agnihotra particles are formed from inorganic minerals, low molecular weight hydrocarbons, polycyclic aromatic substances, fatty acid and other alcoholic acids, medicinal byproduct of herbs, fragrance causing esters and other volatile organic compounds. The commonly used things we use to form the Havan Samakri are agar, ashwakanta, red chandan, white chandan, devdara, kiloya, Gugla, tagar, and Swami Dayanand Saraswati has also classified all the offerings to the fire in 4 groups. Number 1 is substances with fine odor. Number 2 is substances with healthy constituents. Third one is the sweet substances, and D is the medicinal herbs. So here we have shown the major composition of Agnihotra aerosol particles. Now, in order to proceed to our first experiment, as we have done a series of experiments, this is our first experiment. So as per Ayurveda, we have used a specific medicinal trees for oblations like Pipala, Devdara and mango trees would. Further, the special Havan Samakri was prepared as per prescribed in Vedic literature with more than 100 different kind of herbs of high therapeutic efficacy. Further, we have used these other substances like musk, saffron, rose petal, white sandalwood powder, red sandalwood powder, agar, tagar, these specific substances for the Havan Samakri. all the constituents were mixed in definite proportion along with cow's ghee. We have used cow ghee as oblation in Agnihotra. Here is a list of total 100 herbs we have used in preparation of the Savan Samakri. Now the process of Agnihotra, we have performed the Agnihotra specifically as per the ancient Vedic literature. Briefly, along with all mantras and prayers, chanting prescribed for Dainik Yajna in Veda, in Yajurveda, we have also done 324 oblations of Gayatri Mantra as well as 21 ahutis of Mahamrityunjaya Mantra. And after completion of Yajna Prarthana was performed for deep sense of gratitude to Almighty God for His all blessings. So here are the these are the instruments we have used. This is the PM5 sampler that collect all the particles less than 5 micrometer diameter, and then after this we use these particles for further analysis like SAM, TAM, scanning electron microscopy, transmission electron microscopy, as well as for X-ray, fluorescence, and XID analysis. From XRF analysis of the particles, PM5 particles, we found that the Agnihotra aerosol particles were rich in carbon, aluminium, silicon, magnesium, potassium, boron, calcium, as well as iron, chromium, and nickel. Further, potassium is just a tracer of biomass burning because we use a different kind of woods in the Agnihotra and can be eliminated from the burning of mango wood during Agnihotra. Carbon is observed to be more than 80% in Agnihotra aerosol particle, which is an important parameter that need to be investigated. This is the carbon that is responsible for air pollution as well as for healthifying the environment. The chemistry of this particle is very much important because more the Western community always tells us that during Agnihotra we are just doing the biomass burning and producing a lot of chemical. But the point is, we need to figure out that what type of carbon it is, whether this is black carbon or organic carbon or brown carbon. We need to further investigate the chemistry of these carbons components, whether this carbon is associated with some therapeutic formulation or is just carbon black that is causing the environmental pollution. So we have further investigated this the details of this minute carbon in order to investigate whether we have these different kind of carbons. We have done the individual particle analysis using the SAM ADS. SAM ADS is basically scanning electron microscopy and electron dispersive spectroscopy. So it tells us, firstly, you can see this is the image of the particle on the nanoscale, as well as the second part shows us the chemical composition of this individual particle. So from these SAM EDS analysis, we found that the particles are irregular in shape, and some particles were observed to be externally mixed with carbon fractals. So basically, these particles are having different chemical compositions with externally mixed with carbon fractals. And according to EDS data, these all particles are also rich in carbon, silicon, aluminium, iron, magnesium, potassium, and chlorine. And further, the clearly visible carbon, we can see black carbon, some kind of black carbon during the analysis. One of the another very interesting parameter is the Varsha Yajna. From, I think, since ages in our India, a lot of saints and other persons are involved with the manifestation of this Varsha Yajna. Some interesting studies have shown the evidence that aerosol particles from oxidized biogenic sources, like we produce from the Agnihotra, are very useful to cause the ion-induced nucleation for the required for the cloud formation, and it can be used as seeds for climate. So based on all these parameters and the previous study, we found that these inorganic particles are hydroscopic in nature. So whenever they are in the environment or cloud formation, and they produce or they absorb the water droplets present in the environment and help to give us the rain. Further, in order to do the analysis on micro nanoscale, we have done the HRTEM analysis of Agnihotra aerosol particles. These HRTEM is the high resolution transmission electron microscopy. So from here we found that there are a lot of particles associated with Agnihotra that are of nanometer scale, nanometer range. You can see that in D we have this scale is of 50 nanometer, and here are the magnified images of F. In F you can see that these are somewhat liposomal kind of particles that have very high therapeutic efficacy. And in an image G, we found that this scale is only 5 nanometers. So here the tiny particles can be used for the nano medicinal formations, and these particles are causing high therapeutic effects on human health on Agnihotra. So here is the system we have used for the collection of volatile organic compounds. So we condense the fumes from the Agnihotra and using our setup and collected the extract in airtight vials at 4 degree in refrigerator and analyzed the GCMS, that is gas chromatography mass spectroscopy. So from GCMS analysis, we have obtained more than 42 volatile organic compounds of high therapeutic efficacy. These volatile organic compounds are evolved during the Agnihotra process due to various phytochemical reactions between the Havan Samagri and the Agni. And these volatile organic compounds can be inhaled by us and cause different kind of health effects in our body, like cyclourone, cinnamic acid, ethyl glycolate. A lot of esters are there, and a range of you can say that the fatty acids and their corresponding ester are also found, like lauryl alcohol, isopropyl mesyrate, tetradecanoic acid, etc. Then there are a lot of fatty acids also produced, and their corresponding esters we find that like oleic acid, linoleic acid, and then glycidyl palmitate we found evolved from the Agnihotra aerosol particle. And there's a lot of other chemicals also, like stigmasterols, stigmasterol acetate, etc. So investigation of GCMS chromatogram reveals the presence of various fatty acid, ester of fatty acids, essential oils of herbal formulations, etc., liberated from the fumes of Agnihotra. Chiefly, derivatives of lauryl alcohol, isopropyl mesyrate, mesric acid, and substitute long chain fatty acid and their esters are of very high therapeutic potential. Lauryl alcohols and its functional derivative are known for their application as novel drug delivery nanoplatform, owing to their topical and targeted penetration directly to skin dermatophytes. So these lauryl alcohols and their functional derivatives have a specific property that they can penetrate and target our skin dermatophytes. and they can penetrate into our skin through some processes. Further, the isopropyl macerate, an ester of isopropyl alcoholic acid, has shown excellent transdermal efficacy for treatment of skin syndromes, fungal infection, removal of head lice, etc. Presence of compounds like lauryl alcohol in the medicated fumes of Agnihotra indicate what topical transdermal efficacy of Agnihotra for the treatment of fungal infection. Further, few long-chain fatty acids have also been found in methanol extract of Agnihotra. These fatty acid and derivatives have excellent antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, and anti-cancerous response in lot of studies. In general, the fatty acid can induce antibacterial action mainly by disrupting the cell membrane or alteration of crucial bacterial cellular processes like disruption of electron transport chain, uncoupling, oxidative phosphorylation, inhibiting the activity of bacterial enzymes, the presence of aroma producing compounds like galaxolide, a polycyclic musk, extensively used in the household air fragrances, air freshness, etc. In the collected extract of Agnihotra fumes, is responsible for long-lasting, clean, and sweet aroma of Agnihotra medicated fumes. Further, the presence of phytosterols class compounds like stigmasterol, acetate, and stigmastane 3,5-diene in Agnihotra fumes is responsible for the antimicrobial, analgesic, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, as well as anti-noniseptic properties. For the presence of few esters of Agnihotra like linoleic acid, ethyl ester, are the chief constituents responsible for antimicrobial and antifungal activities of Agnihotra. In a nutshell, we can say that Agnihotra ceremony was executed according to the Vedic literature. Nearly 100 herbs were used, and we have performed Agnihotra with the mantra and prayers from Dainik Yajna, and along with 324 ahutis of Gayatri mantra and 21 ahutis of Mahamrityunjaya mantra were performed to holy fire. A significant reduction in the concentration, specifically 25%, 20%, 15, 30% for corresponding gases like carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, ozone, and H2H. We have not shown the more data here due to lack of time. After Agnihotra, the relative level of pollutant gases get increased and indicate the role of Agnihotra for sustainable environmental protection. Further, these SAM, EDS, and HRTM analysis data reveals the observation of carbon fractal rich in various inorganic minerals, whereas the GCMS data or analysis reveals the evolution of around 42 volatile organic compound of high significant high efficacy, therapeutic efficacy during the Agnihotra. So in our further experimentations, we have performed a lot of experiment using state-of-the-art instrumentation facility available at IIT Delhi. We have analyzed the using this ACSM. This is an instrument that mimics our environment. So it is helpful to tell us that how the UV radiation change this Agnihotra aerosol particle in environment. If Agnihotra aerosol particle present in environment for you can say 2 to 3 days, so what type of chemical changes that can be associated with that? And this is the online XRF instrument in situ process. So basically, after using this instrument, we get to know the chemical composition of the Agnihotra aerosol particles on a real time. This instrument gives us every data point on, I think, 30 seconds. Here are the long arrow of the gas analyzer we have employed. And then this other instrument with ozone counting parameters. And this is very one of the very most sophisticated instrument we have used. We will show the data of this instrumentation after some time or in other talk. This is the PTR-MS, that is proton transfer reaction mass spectroscopy. This instrument will give us the knowledge of the volatile organic compound or any other compound every second during the Agnihotra, and around 2 lakhs of the volatile organic compound can be scanned from this instrument in a single second. So we have performed all these experiments using all these instrumentation techniques, and let us see what we will get. So here are some of the future plans. We are considering a lot to do some experimentation on these also, like Agnihotra ash for water purification, formation of the cloud condensation nuclei that connects the Varsha Yagya. Although, as I shown, we have performed some experimentation on at IIT Delhi. So these cloud condensation, we also try to address the formation of the cloud condensation nuclei from Agnihotra aerosol particles. Next is the UAF based in situ analysis of Agnihotra aerosols, like how these Agnihotra present in the environment, in what chemical composition. And last one is the validation of Agnihotra as an inhalation therapy mechanism that can be associated with various in vitro and in vivo studies. Dhanyawad. If anyone have any questions, please.
Okay, those who want to ask questions, raise your hand. We'll see if any questions are in the chat box.
Okay.
CC Babu garu, can you see?
So the first question is, I think by VS Lakshmi, which specific Havan Samagri can be used in regular Agnihotram for antifungal effect? You can use any of the Havan Samagri. That Havan Samagri should be free from insects or germs or germicides or pesticides. You can also prepare this Havan Samagri by yourself. But if you say, if you use giloy, the dried giloy, so it all the gilo has a quite larger component of the antifungal activity in itself, and you can use any of the Havan Samagri. Any of the Havan Samagri you can buy from the commercially available product. So it doesn't matter. And the next question is from the A. Purushottam Rao. Are there any studies on the outcome of such products from burial grounds? Because burial grounds are all around in Cosmoplex. Okay, so till now there is no study present in literature, but maybe in future someone will do this kind of study. And V. Lakshmi, I mean Agnihotra atom. Yeah, I can understand. So here are only two questions.
Namaskar, sir. Actually, for giloy, will leaves do or wood has to be used?
No, not leaves. You need to use the dried stem of that giloy.
Okay, branches will do.
Yeah, and that should be properly dried, because
Yes,
if
sir.
this has the moisture content, that will produce a lot of smoke and irritation, that will cause a lot of irritation in your eyes.
But cow dung cakes also can be used along with giloy, is it?
Yeah, you can use.
For base. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. N.J. Shastri, is it because of herbs used, or what about mantra portion? So the therapeutic efficacy is due to the herbs used in oblations, whereas the mantra portion is associated with the photoacoustic and sound vibrations produced, and that will cause the mental health, that will affect our mental health, that will create peace on mind and other things. So these have different parameters and different targets. So the herbs used as oblations can only affect our environment as well as our health. So Nirib Kumar Mehta asked, you have mentioned 324 Gayatri Mantra and 24 Mahamrityunjaya Mantra in Yagnotra. Actually, we need to perform this Agnihotra experiment for a longer time. And there is no specifically, we have not specifically used this kind of ahutis. And the 324 ahutis are because we have used a mala of 108, beads. So we have done the 3 malas of Gayatri Mantra just in a way to calculate how many ahutis we have performed. And 21 Mahamrityunjaya Mantra we have performed, because we have performed this experiment for around 2.5 hours, because for the collection of volatile organic compound, we need to do this experiment a little longer. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other question?
PS Murthy garu.
Good morning, Dr. BrahmDutt,
Yeah, good
and
morning.
other my friends. I just would like to know, when you did the experiment,
Yeah.
and then had these findings, whether the Havan Samagri used is on a pro rata basis, or you have used the Havan Samagri, for example, Chandan of more quantity and then Gugilam of less quantity, how it is?
No.
And if the quantity varies, then what would be the effect?
Yeah, I have already mentioned all the constituents were taken in appropriate and equal amounts.
What do you mean by appropriate? Appropriate
If
means
we
what?
use
Have you measured in quantity and then taken it, or how it is?
Yeah. We have exactly measured gram to gram of this quantity of these all components or constituents of Havan Samagri. And in an other experiment, we have also prepared some different kind of samagris, like for causing the therapeutic outcomes, like in COVID especially. We found that many people are using Giloy and other Googla and other things in the Havan Samagri. Then we have performed 3 different kind of Havan Samagri. One is for the high therapeutic efficacy. The other one is for causing the cloud condensation nuclei, and the components of all these samagri are different, and we will report this study very soon. Basically, some of the analysis are in process using some techniques. So in generalize, we use Havan Samagri with the constituents taken in equal amounts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. That's good. But no, my question is, if it is improper quantities, then does your result will have a negative effect or not? That is what I
Not
want.
negative effect, but the irregular burning of woods without using ghee or other things can cause irregular effect on health, because at that time we use only, if we use you can say moisture having wood, then we will produce a lot of smoke during the Agnihotra. That will cause irritation in our leg, our eyes, and also has this effect on our lungs also. So in during the Agnihotra, we should take mostly dried woods, and use this herbs in any amount you can use. It doesn't affect doesn't have any negative effect on our human health.
There is one question from Lohita.
Yeah.
What is the scientific reason behind the Deeparadhana that we do daily in the house?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
What is the scientific reason
Yeah.
behind the Deeparadhana, Diya Jalana at
Yeah.
home every day we do?
Yeah.
What is the scientific reason behind
Basically, during Deepa Aradhana, we use cow's ghee for Deepa Aradhana. So the burning of this ghee or other things will produce long chain of fatty acid in the environment. So they doesn't have any little kind of negative effect on our health, as well as the other parameter, spiritual parameter, we all always know.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, BrahmDutt Arya ji, for sparing your time and coming for this, delivering the lecture and also educating us on the latest, what is going on in the research field.
Thank you so much, Lieutenant Babu, Dr. Babu, for this inviting me here. And you all guys are doing a very good work, very novel work by organizing this Sanatan Dharma course. And my best wishes are always with you.
Yeah, this lecture is one of its kind in the 3 months course.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's
According-
my pleasure. I will always be available for you guys.
Very much and very nice of you.
Yeah.
Now you may stay back till 8 o'clock, or if you have any other work, you may go. Prabhu Garu has joined and he will take on the next session.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Now, good morning, Prabhu Garu.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. And dear participants, Prabhu Garu is known to all of us. He is our academic director. And we have introduced you to introduce him to all of you. And he's no new person to us. So without much of formalities, now I'll request him to continue the webinar.
Okay. Good morning, BrahmDutt ji. Thank you so much for your kind agreeing to give the presentation and giving a very impressive presentation. So, friends, today we will be delving into some of the research topics. The idea is that
your video is, not horizontal. Can you?
what can I do, because the stand is like that? The stand is only horizontal.
Your position is sleeping position.
I don't know why it is coming like that.
Rotation problem. You may switch out the rotation. Yeah, it's on.
No, I removed the stand. Will fall down. Yeah. Okay, now what I was trying to convey to all of you is that the present course of Sanatana Dharma is having an orientation of scientific research rather than a blind belief-based religious approach. Normally, when people talk of Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma or any other religion, they will take a blind belief approach. Just do this, and you will get this kind of a blind approach. Whereas in this course, we are taking a different approach. We are taking a totally scientific approach, as against the blind belief approach in other courses or in other religions. So by now you would have understood that all the speakers and presentations were scientific in nature, including today's presentation. So now, in any scientific activity, there is a research component which is very substantial. So even in BTech, let alone MTech and PhD, there is a BTech project, kind of a small research kind of a project. So in the same way, for you people, if you think this is like BTech in Sanatana Dharma, condensed into 3 months instead of 4 years, then you have a project. So I'm going to tell you various possibilities of research projects. You can choose any one of them, or you can choose any other project also related to them, or unrelated also, in case it deserves by its merit. So one of the research projects is what BrahmDutt just presented today. So how the Yajna Karma or the Agnihotra or Havan, whatever name you give, is affecting the environment and how it is affecting the health positive way and how it is affecting the sense of well-being. Once I talked to the Nobel Prize winner of 2012 Nobel Prize and I asked him what is the greatest challenge which modern medicine is facing. So the answer he gave was very surprising. We don't have any understanding of how to achieve sense of well-being. So obviously sense of well-being is something like prasanna atmendriya manaha. In fact, the definition of health given in Ayurveda is prasanna atmendriya manaha. So to achieve that sense of well-being, it is not possible through allopathy or through homeopathy or through Unani or Siddha. Siddha may be having. So it is possible only through a mental process, a process which will influence the mind to feel that I am doing good. In fact, the word swasthya in Sanskrit and Hindi also, which is used as an equivalent for health, which means swastha, you are being in yourself. And when you are being in yourself, whatever impact or whatever result effect you will get is called swasthya. That is health. So when you are being in yourself without getting distracted or without getting affected or influenced or diverted by anything else outside, when you are in yourself, swastha, that state of prasannata, prasanna atmendriya manaha is called swasthya. Being in yourself. Swasthya is the word used in Hindi and Sanskrit for health. So that means you will be healthy only when you are in yourself in a perfect way. So how to reach that state of health is the challenge the modern medicine is facing, because allopathy, for which the Nobel Prize was given, is not capable of bringing that sense of well-being, because it believes in treatment of diseases through drugs like antibiotics, and that too in a mass scale without the concern for individualized conditions. So therefore, one research topic you can consider is this: how to get swasthya. Of course, before using the word prasannatmendriya manaha, Charaka has given a few list of conditions of health. Samadhatuhu, samagnihi, sama malakriyaha, prasannatmendriya manaha, swasthya ityuchyate. So samadosha, samadhatu, agni, samagni, that is the tissues, dhatus are tissues in proper balance. Tissues means blood, muscle, etc., etc. And samagni is digestive fire, agni is the digestive fire. And samadhatu malakriya, all the excretory process being balanced. And samadosha is the main definition. So you see, when you have the three doshas, you heard in the Ayurveda lecture by Kishorji, when the pitta, vata and kapha, they are balanced equally, then you are supposed to be in good health. So that is one prerequisite condition, then not the only condition. Samadosha and samagnihi, balanced digestive fire, neither too much nor too less. Agni, of course, is both Kamagni and Jataragni inside the body. And of course, Krodhagni is the third one, which should be under control. And Samadhatu Malakriyaha, the balanced, that means fat should not be too much, or bone should not be too much, or blood should not be, all should be in balanced condition. And excretionary process should be in balanced condition. For achieving this, the entire Ayurveda system was developed. It's the oldest of all sciences in the world. And Bharadwaja was the first human being to have acquired the knowledge of science of Ayurveda from Indra, not on the earth, but in heavens. So this health science is a great thing. And so in the Agnihotra process, in the Yajna process, as our friend BrahmDutt has just now conveyed correctly, the mental peace and happiness is one of the effects of the performance of Yajna or Agnihotra. Apart from the cleansing of the environment and cleansing of the body through the gases which are produced in the Havana process, it is the mantra chanting which is also there, which can help in improving the mental condition. So one research topic I would like to suggest is how to get prasanna atmendriya manaha, sense of well-being in the self and in the senses and in the mind. So you take this as one of the research topics. Another research topic related to is, in the process of calming the mind, the mantras are having a big role. So once I studied a whole process of mantra shastra. I had one guru who is no more. So how various mantras, chanting or repetition, either loudly or softly, can influence your body and mind. For example, Om. In the Yoga Sutras, Om Tasya Vachaka Pranavaha. Pranava is Om is given as the name of Ishvara, who is a personality devoid of all kleshas, miseries, klesha karma, and is also unaffected by karma. Klesha karma vipakasher aparamrishtaha purusha visheshaha ishvaraha tasya vachaka pranavaha. So pranava, Om, is the vachaka or indicator or name of Ishvara. Tad japastadardha bhavanam. By repeating it and by contemplating on its meaning, tata pratyak chetanadhigamopyantaraya bhavascha, it's possible to overcome all the obstructions and opposite forces which come against your progress. What are those obstructions? Vyadhi, disease, dhyana, lazy, like drowsiness, samshaya, doubt, alasya, laziness, avirati, dissatisfaction, Bhranti darshanalabdha bhumigattvani devastitani antaraya. These are the antarayas. And what are their symptoms? Associated symptoms. Dukkha, daurmanasya, angamejesva, shwasa prashwasa, vikshepaha, sabhavaha. So, disturbance of the balanced breathing and having misery. Daurmanasya, having mental debility, weakness, like Arjuna had at the beginning of Gita. Dukkha daurmanasya angamejes, that is the organs shaking, shivering. Shwasa prashwasa vikshepaha sahabhava. All these are the associated symptoms of those antarayas. So all these things together can be overcome by one single mantra, that is Om. Tajapastadardha bhavanam, because it represents Ishvara. Of course, in the Upanishads, Om is representing Brahman. Om ityaksham Brahma, and it has three parts to Ma. We have seen this in the Mandukya Upanishad. Akara is representing the waking state of the consciousness. Ukara is representing the dream state, and Makara is representing the deep sleep state. And Om together is explaining the nature of consciousness, self, shuttling between these three states, but it's independent of these three states, which is the Turiya state, that is described as Samadhi, etc. So this Om is the highest of all mantras, no doubt. So in the entire Mantra Shastra, and there is a book called Mantra Mahodadhi. This is second topic I am suggesting for your research. Mantra Shastra, there are hundreds and thousands of mantras and their meanings and effects are explained in various books of Mantra Shastra. Mantra Mahodadhi, one book is there. Sharada Tilakam, another book is there. You can try to acquire these books and study. And how to perform the mantra sadhana. It has the, apart from simply chanting like Om, it also involves Anganyasa, Karanyasa. And when you add the Devata Upasana to it, because mantra is nothing but Devata, Devata is nothing but mantra. So there is a Shodashopachara Puja or Pancha Puja. So when you perform the whole thing as per the Mantra Shastra, the Tantra Shastra is also indicating the entire process, which is finally culminating in the Agama Shastra, which is the basis of temple's construction. How the stone becomes divine, the transformation is given in the Agama Shastra. So a lot of people foolishly think that, all Hindus worship stones. It's not true. It can be in stone or it need not be stone also. Like if you go to the various Shiva Kshetras, you have the, you have Agnilinga, Akashalinga, Vayulinga, there is no stone there. And in Chidambaram, it is Sunyam, Akasham. So it is different upasanas of different devatas. And we know that there are 6 major devatas as identified by Adi Shankaracharya in the process of establishing Shanmatas. That's why it is given the title Shanmata Sthapanacharya. So Shanmatas, first is Shaivam, Shiva related. When we say Shiva, not only Shiva, but the Parivar of Shiva and the avatars of Shiva, or the subordinate sub-devatas of Shiva like Virabhadra, all together is Shiva is one of the 6 matas. So all mantras relating to Shiva and the all tantras, there are so many Shaiva tantras and there are so many Shaiva Agama texts, which are the basis for the upasana of Shiva in the present day temples or in the ancient temples, and the construction of temples, the processes of puja vidhanam, at what time, at what way, in what way you should do that puja, that is determined by Shaivagama for the Shiva temples. Then similarly, Vaishnavagama for Vishnu temples, we have Pancharatra and Vaikhanasa, the 2 different branches. Like in the Tirupati, it is Vaikhanasagama. So those Agama Shastras are there, according to which the pujas are performed strictly, right from morning till night in 24 hours, the whole process. So when the pujas are performed in that way, exactly as per the Agama Shastra, the effects will be there. You can see the effects. People go there and they get a lot of benefits. And by witnessing, of course, they perform the puja by themselves, it will have much more impact. So this Mantra Shastra, Tantra Shastra, Agama Shastra, all are related to each other very intimately. So this is the second research topic. The third research topic is the interaction between different darshanas. That is, you see, if you have, like I have covered Vaiseshika Darshana, I have covered Nyaya Darshana, I have covered Sankhya Darshana, and I have covered Vedanta Darshana, and I have, of course, Yoga Darshana will be covering in depth the next 1 month, which is the third part of this course, 3 months course, 3 parts, 3 months. So it has been designed by me in such a way that in the beginning you will start with the Vedas, go through the entire Veda, Vedanga, Dharma Shastra, Darshana, Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita. Of course, we have not covered Brahma Sutras in this course, we don't want to cover. And then we went to the Puranas, Itihasas, and their modern context and relevance. And we have also touched upon a little bit of Vastu and mathematics, Vedic mathematics. We have gone deep. So all this we have done so that you got the entire scientific perspective. It is not a religion, it is science. In fact, in our culture, there is no difference between religion and science. Both are one and the same, Shastra. So all are Shastras, that scientific body. What is a Shastra? It is a well-organized body of knowledge all our Shastras, well-organized body of knowledge which can be proven with the scientific method. Scientific method comprises of observation, analysis, hypothesis, and then proof in terms of the experimentation. And in addition to in fact, this scientific method has been explained in many of the ancient texts as uha, apoha, as the hypothesis and antithesis. And the proof is pramana. And the entire Sanatana Dharma is based on pramana. The Nyaya Shastra, Nyaya Darshana is a pramana Shastra. Pramana is a proof, as a prachaksha, anumana, agama, and so on. Ardhapatti, upamana, shabda. So now the validity of the entire Sanatana Dharma, Hinduism, is based on the approach of proof, which is the Nyaya Darshana for every subject, not just Nyaya Darshana itself, but in every subject, the approach of Nyaya Darshana is deployed. In Vaiseshika, for example, the entire framework of Nyaya is included in the Vaiseshika. So in the entire framework of Sankhya is included in Yoga, the Purusha Prakriti. So the third research topic I am suggesting to you is the interoperability, or what you call interreferences, interlinkages between different darshanas. So you do research on how Yoga Darshana is represented in Vaiseshika, or Vaiseshika is represented in Nyaya, or Nyaya is represented in Vaiseshika. Of course, they in a time sequence they will be there. You don't find Yoga Darshana represented in Sankhya Darshana because Yoga Darshana came later to Sankhya Darshana. Kapila was earlier to Patanjali. So that way, Vaiseshika is much later. So Vaiseshika contains references to yoga. In fact, it is beautifully defined yoga as Atmastha Yoga. Yoga is defined as being in yourself. Atmastha. So similarly, Vedanta Darshana covers and spans all the previous darshanas, Vedanta Darshana being the last in the sixth. And it tries to go beyond the previous five as the sixth, and give some novel models. That is how Adi Shankaracharya has refuted the statements of the ultimate reality given in the Vaiseshika or Sankhya, and then gave the Advaita Siddhanta as a supreme. Of course, the Bauddha Jaina darshanas are also there. So now that is the third topic I told, the interoperability, integration, interlinkages, interreferences between the darshanas. And then the fourth topic is Dharma Yoga. When we go outside our darshanas into non-Vedic darshanas like Buddha, Jaina, Charvaka, Lokayata, and even Nastika, atheistic, modern atheism, agnosticism, skepticism. So if you cover all these non-Vedic darshanas also, and even Islam, Christianity, Judaism, then what is common? What are the interreferences and interlinkages? Are they really independent? In my research in the Dharma Yoga, which is the fourth topic I am suggesting to you, I found that they are not independent. Yesterday also I gave one presentation where we had the experts from other religions, and we were trying to find out what is common. Of course, a lot of people are there, some of you may be there, who think that the other people are all very bad, they are cruel, they are our enemies. Like, if you want to describe enemy, you have to talk Pakistan. And in Pakistan, if you talk of enemy, you talk of India. Is that really true? Because India and Pakistan were originally one country only. In fact, the word India is more true in Pakistan than India, because India comes from the word Indus, and Indus is originating in Pakistan, Sindh River. So it is not true that India and Pakistan are different countries and they should fight and they will become enemies to each other. That is a ground reality, but it is not a valid approach. India and Pakistan were one country and one people, one nation, same rivers, same culture. In fact, same religion also was there till they were converted. So before 1947, India and Pakistan were one country. Like now Telangana, Andhra, there is so much of unnecessary cacophony generated and a separate state was called, but both speak Telugu. That way, within Telangana also, from district to district, Telugu varies. In fact, you know what is the meaning of the word Telangana? The word Telangana simply means a region where Telugu is spoken. Under the Nizam's rule, a region where Telugu is spoken is called Telangana, and the region where Marathi is spoken is called Marathwada. So, just means Telangana means Telugu spoken. So that means Rajahmundry, is it not Telangana? Or Vijayawada, is it not Telangana? So it is all kind of a myth created by politicians to divide and rule. So in the same way, these religions are also myths created by the British, as if this is a different thing, that is different thing, like Buddhism is different, Jainism is different. It is not really so. Because if you look at the Ardhashastra, Kautilya does not talk as if these are all different things. He has talked always two words together, Brahmanas and Shramanas. You know what Brahmanas, and Shramanas means the ascetics of Buddhist and Jain sects, denominations. So he always brought them together. In fact, if you remember, if you saw the Chanakya serial, the Buddhist acharyas were not considered as different religion. Jain acharyas were not considered as different religion. In fact, Chandragupta Maurya became a Jain after his retirement from politics. So the point is that this division is created artificially by some people like Britishers for their benefit of divide and rule policy. So that's why the word dharmic religions is also used, where Buddha, Jaina are integrated into Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma. In fact, in the Constitution of India, Buddha, Jaina and Sikh are all considered as part of Hinduism only. The Hindu law is applicable to all of them. So this Dharma Yoga is a framework of commonness between religions. Of course, these religions are originating in the Indian subcontinent. The religions in the modern sense of the meaning. So if you go back to the roots, they all find common roots of having the commonness of Dharma in them, and yoga also common across these Indic so-called religions. And non-Indic, that means religions which originated outside India. The Abrahamic, so-called Abrahamic religions, the Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, they are not included as part of Hinduism in the Constitution of India, because some people objected, saying they are not of Indian origin. Okay, they may not be of Indian origin in the present day India, but just like India and Pakistan were not different a few years ago, if you go back in history, 5,000 years ago, say at the time of Mahabharata war, Bhagavad Gita, was there any other religion in the world? Was there any Judaism or Christianity or Islam? Nothing was there. Or Zoroastrianism? Even Zoroastrianism was not there. So the entire world was completely Hinduism, the Vedic Sanatana Dharma. Once upon a time, just like Pakistan got separated, and the other countries also got separated. Even from British Empire, Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, Burma, they all got separated. And in the same way, the other countries, like we have, in fact, you'll be surprised to realize that in Rome, the Devtas who were being propitiated and worshipped were none other than the Surya and the Navagrahas. In fact, there is a book published by our Akalla Prabhakar Rao Garu to show what was the ancient religion of Rome and Europe. You cannot say it is not Sanatana Dharma. It was Vedic Sanatana Dharma. So when you go back in time, you can see that the Dharma, the Sanatana Dharma, was global, and therefore these people were all our people. In fact, many of them migrated from India. There is enough proof that a large migration took place from India to Europe at different periods, particularly starting with the Parashurama period. When Parashurama started killing all the Kshatriyas, they all ran away from India to Greece. Yavanas, they are called the Yavana Desha, Romaka, Rome, Madra, Egypt, Kekaya, Iran, like this, all these countries. So the global spread of Sanatana Dharma is the topic of the next research topic I suggest to you. And I doubt to develop a Dharma Yoga as a common framework for a global Sanatana Dharma, so that we can aim at a Gharwapasi on a global scale. We can aim at a Gharwapasi from Pakistan to India as a united Akhanda Bharat. But when you go back more and more, the Akhand Bharat expands into Afghanistan, Burma, Sri Lanka, then even the Chola Empire, Java, Borneo, Southeast Asia, and Cambodia, Vietnam, all this is part of India. And you even go back more into Mahabharata period, the whole world was, Mahabharata war was a world war. People came from everywhere. Bahlika, Bactria. Bahlika was the brother of Shantanu, who was the ruler of Bactria. So this way, the whole globe. So I want you to do a research on this research topic of the global span of Sanatana Dharma and the common framework of Sanatana Dharma in the ancient times. How the so-called paganism in various countries was nothing but Hinduism. Now it is being accepted. In fact, the pagans themselves, the World European Pagan Council declared that Hinduism is the extant pagan religion. The word pagan is used derogatorily by the Christian Church to indicate the pre-Christian culture and religion of the whole world, including Europe, Rome, and even Arabia, and the temples in Petra. Even today, temples are there in Petra, in Egypt. We have enough evidence that the Egyptian queens were the daughters of Hittites and Mitannis, who were the Vedic people of Turkey. The Bogoskoy inscription refers to a treaty between Hittites and Mitannis, both swearing on Mitra Varuna, the Vedic deities. And the Gayatri Mantra is found in the Zen Taoist Persian Zoroastrianism text. So I have been doing some research on this. So this is the next research topic. And finally, the last research topic I would suggest is Viman Shastra itself. And this is also a very exciting topic. Recently also, we have started reviving it. I went to Bangalore, there was a conference. So normally it is believed that all science originated in England or nearby England very recently, 300 years ago. And until the apple fell on the head of Newton, the whole world was in darkness. They did not even know the existence of gravitation or the laws of motion. Is that really true? Because in the Vaiseshika Sutras of Kannada, you have explicit description of the gravitation and laws of motion and force and acceleration and capillary motion and ballistic motion and the heat, electricity, magnetism. I brought out clearly in my book. I already gave my lecture on that. So now, in the ancient times, was there any technology, science or not? If there was no science or technology, then by now all humanity should have died. Because without medical science, it is not possible for human beings to survive. So without houses and town planning and living conditions, then man should have died. They should have remained as Adi Manavas, tribal, naked tribals like Andaman. Is it really so? The great civilizations portrayed in the great epics of Ramayana and Mahabharata, they are indicating the opposite situation. The most advanced, if you look at the Sundarakanda, what kind of advancement was there? Or if you look at the Ayodhya Kanda, what kind of Ayodhya was there? If you look at the weaponry used by Rama, the Astras and the Pushpak Vimana, and even later in the Mahabharata, the Vimanas used by Saubhaka Vimana and others, and also the Astras in the Mahabharata war, they are far more advanced than the weapons we have today. The picture which we get from the traditional perspective, as our friend, our chairman Prabhakar Garu knows very well, the opposite is the truth. The Kali Yuga is the worst, lowest development. The highest development was in Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and gradually coming down. Whereas in the modern perspective, we think that Kali Yuga is the most advanced. Right now, we are the most advanced, and all of us were very, very backward. They didn't know anything. Is that true? So in Viman Shastra, we find the evidence of the opposite. There was very advanced science and technology, and the existence of Brahmastra and other Astras and Vimanas in the Ramayana period, Mahabharata period, and even earlier in various Puranas, and also the travel between other worlds the Deva, Gandharva, Yaksha, Kinnara, Kimpurusha, Siddha, Charana, Vidyadhara, Rakshasa, all these different beings, they are not humans. Humans are Manavas on the earth only. So all these people coming and going in their Vimanas, in various Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Suvarloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka, and Satyaloka, and then in lower lokas, Atala, Sutala, Talatala, Rasatala, Mahatala, Patala. All these 14 lokas, people are traveling in the Vimanas of their own, which we cannot see. So the Viman Shastra is an eye-opener. I have produced a half a dozen materials from it, and some other friends of mine have, who independent, whom I don't even know, they have produced a few others. Now recently, one project was granted by DST, and they have invited me to give some advice, and so we are going to test the Tamogarbha Loha for the microwave absorption spectra characteristics. So investigating into high technology in ancient manuscripts is the last project which I want to suggest. Of course, as I told in the beginning, these are not the only projects. You can come out with your own project also, but please take up your own individual research projects, and it is not to be finished within few days, in the next 1 week and all. That's not possible. You take your time, say 3 months time you take. Later also you can submit, and you can submit a project report. And if you are surveying any particular text, then it can be, that report which you submit can become a Grantha Parichaya essay also in our Grantha Parichaya project. So if it is not a simple single text, but it is an overview of different texts, then it's fine. Research projects we will publish separately. And we are starting one journal also, as you know. So these reports, research reports, will be published in our journal. So please, each one of you can take, or you can take in groups of 2-3 also. It's up to you. And you can keep contacting me whenever you have any questions or doubts online. So with this, I stop for today.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu Garu. And there are a few questions. Few questions on chat box. I'm an MBBS student. Can you please suggest me a research?
I've already just now suggested. First project I suggested was health related only. What is the definition of health in ancient Indian literature? Sannatmendriya manaha. That is how to get the sense of well-being, swasthya. And for that, what are the techniques available in yoga, in Ayurveda? Yoga will be covering for 1 month. And Siddha is also Ayurveda only. And Unani is derived out of Ayurveda. So sense of well-being, mental balance, and sense of well-being, happiness, because unless and until a person is happy, he will not be healthy. Sound mind, sound body in a sound mind, a sound mind in a sound. So you can do research on that. I already said, if you carefully examine what I told today, I've covered all these topics. Please re-study this today's video. Next.
There seems to be several books with different authors and mantra. Muhammad Hadi, can you recommend an author to go with?
No. As I told you, Mantra Mahodadi is a very famous text. You can take up that also. I don't want to recommend a single text. There are many texts. Sharada Tilakam is there. And there are many other texts. You can take up anyone which you like, or if you already have some background, or if you know some teacher, or if you have any other source, you can follow any text.
Is it accurate that people performing Agnihotra should be eating only home cooked food and should not be eating food outside? Is there a difference?
Whether you perform Agnihotra or not, that is a general principle. Obviously, when you eat outside, you are risking your health. But then when you are traveling, you have no choice but to eat outside. Next.
Your comment that Kali Yuga is less advanced than other previous yugas is worth to exploring. Is a comment only.
Yes, you can explore. This is what, in fact, if you look at the Indian scriptures, like even Bhagavata Puranam, they have mentioned clearly that Kali Yuga is the worst of all the 4, because Dharma is only 25%, whereas in Dwapara it was 50%, in Treta it was 75%, in Kruta Satya Yuga it was 100%. and people are weak, they die early, they don't have any peace of mind, or they don't have self-control, they don't perform any tapasya, and they cannot have any strength. Like you don't have to go so far. Within Kali Yuga itself, a few hundred years ago, people were much stronger. If you go to Golconda, there is one big stone there, which was used to test the people who want to join army. If you want to join army, you go there and you are supposed to lift that stone and climb up. Today, we are not able to move it also. So it is well known that, the Kali Yuga is the weakest. And that is why all technologies are being developed, because human beings are the weakest. They are taking the help of machines to survive. And then all dirty things like COVID are being created. Such thing never happened in the history of humanity. Next.
As the research outcome on Dharma Yoga, any benefit to the present day situation of the world?
Yes, that is very important, because now when people start thinking that the other side is very bad, like if you think all Indians think that Pakistan is the worst of all nations on earth, all people in Pakistan are not only idiots, but they're also crooks and rogues. So, and the Pakistanis think the same way about India. Then what will happen? What has been happening in the last 70 years? That itself is an example. How there is animosity developed between two parts of the same country. It is like, suppose Secunderabad and Hyderabad, they start fighting. Then they will say, tank band belongs to me, tank band belongs to me. Each Secunderabad and Hyderabad will start fighting like Kashmir. Kashmir belongs to me, Kashmir belongs to me, like that. It is so stupid and so silly. And therefore, it is very essential to have a unified view, integration, not only across countries like Pakistan and India, but in the entire globe. What is common? Because if you don't find the commonness, if you are insisting and harping all the time only on differences, then you will have only fights and quarrels. Now, I don't have hair on my head. Now, suppose Babu Garu or Prabhakar Garu will start fighting with me because I don't have hair on my head, then there's no end to it. We cannot conduct this course. So, we have to find what are the common factors, not what are the differences. Differences will be there. Having differences is natural, because if you take any item, if no two human beings are same, no two human beings will think in a similar manner. Even the two twins will not be same. They will not think in a similar manner. If you take any dish, like suppose rasam, if you make rasam charu in your house and my house, they will not be same. Every house will have a different rasam. The diversity is inherent in nature. Even in living beings, fish or animals, that is natural. But yet we are able to survive, continue without fighting and conflicts, because we are seeing the commonness. When you get married, you will see something common. Of course, difference will be there. Without difference, you cannot get married. You cannot marry your own brother or sister. Difference has to be there, but commonness is also there. Something link, some common link will be there. Even if 5%, 10%, 20% common link is there, that's adequate to have a strong bondage. Because when you have a chain, the rings in the chain, they will be like this. So when they are like this, the commonness is only 5% or less, but they are still strong common binding. So that's why I'm trying to find the commonness across religions, even with Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And I found it. The commonness is dharma, ethics. Even those scriptures of their own religions are telling very clearly, you follow ethics, you follow truth, you follow non-violence, you follow non-stealing. All the ethical principles, yama, niyama, dharma, they are mentioned there. But these fellows don't follow. They invade and destroy, kill. That is their fault. That is not correct. They are misusing the name of the religion, or terrorists are misusing. That is wrong. So in the script, what is mentioned is the commonness. And yesterday also I had one meeting. Even in the nature of God, somebody is muting, guys, please mute your mics. In the nature of God, the source of creation, sustenance, and dissolution, who is God? That is common, that we have found. Once we find the commonness, that there is not different.
Okay. I think Krishna Garu wants to unmute and talk, but you are making a lot of noise, Krishna Garu. Wait. What is sin? How it is derived? How it is identified?
No, what is it? Please repeat.
What is sin? Sin, S-I-N.
Oh.
How it is derived and identified?
Yeah, okay. See, there are two types of karmas. Patanjali has given 2 sutras. Te hrada paritaphala punya punya hetutvat. Punya karma is one, and apunya karma is another. Apunya karma can be papa karma or neutral karma also. So, according to the nature of that karma, te hrada paritaphala punya punya hetutvat. Satimule tad vipake jat chayur bhoga. The karma vipaka with the fruition of that karma will result in birth, particular birth in particular family, particular community, particular circumstances, and ayu, how long you live, and bhoga, what kind of enjoyment or suffering you had during that life. All the three are decided by karma. And the karma can be either positive punya karma or negative papa karma or neutral karma. Like, if you take bath and go to toilet, it is neutral, it is neither papa karma nor punya karma. So whereas if you take bath in Ganga Snanam, then it is punya karma. Or if you do charity, yajno danas tapascheva pavanani manishna. Yajna, dana and tapas, all are punya karmas. The opposite, in fact, one word definition is paropakara punyaya papaya parapedanam. So helping others is punyam. Why we are conducting this course? We are not taking any money. Even the amount of struggle put by our brothers like our Prabhakar or Babu, day and night they are struggling, putting efforts in executing this course without any result coming to them as a selfish end. So this is punya karma. This is jnana yajna. So all these steps of punya karmas, and papa karmas are the opposite to the punya karma. Like you papaya parapedanam, you make others suffer. You torment others. That is papa karma. That is a basic definition. In all religions, this is upheld. That's why the ethics have come. The opposite of papa karma is ethics. Thou shalt not kill. One of the commandments. Don't kill. Ahimsa, asteya, don't steal. So now I think you got the understood. All opposite of punya is papa. Adharma is papa.
Okay.
Yeah, you can take up the research project on Jyotisha and Ayurveda, because you see, in some of the Ayurveda texts, like Ashtanga Hridayam, I have seen, they are giving the planetary combinations horoscope, which is the position of planets at the time of birth, as a cause of that disease. The Astro Ayurveda is well known. You can take up that study and you can produce a report, and how you can connect it to palmistry also, which is your specialization.
Thank you, Prabhu Garu, for conducting this session and research topics. We got 5 research topics, and people will take it. If they want any guidance, they will get back to you. And from day after tomorrow onwards, our yoga classes, theory and practicals will start. And tomorrow you have final exam at 6:30 in the morning. It will be the same platform, the same way it is done. Now, let us chant Prarthana and Janaganamana. Satyaji?
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितो ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः अपुत्राः पुत्रिणः सन्तु पौत्रिणः अधनाः सधनाः सन्तु जीवन्तु शरदां शतं सत्यं वद धर्मं चर स्वाध्यायान् मा प्रमदः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सर्वे जना सुखिनो भवन्तु लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु। स्वस्ति।
ధన్యవాదములండి. Now let us recite national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा। तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा। जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय हिंद।
జై హింద్. ధన్యవాదములండి చల్లా చిట్టిబాబు గారు.